person. Oh shit, look, it's Richie from Boston. God damn, you can't do that on me, Richie. You can't just appear out of fucking nowhere when I push a button like that to show your ass. No, we're not looking at his ass. It's just, well, I mean, his face kind of looks like his ass. Yes, I don't know. He's pretty fucking fugly. Oh, yeah, I know. He's got a hairy ass, doesn't he? Anyways, so Richie here is going to tell us how evolution is not legitimate, and then a bunch of other crazy shit. He goes off the deep end, and he just starts spouting a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today
What's up, Richie from Boston? How you doing?
is the 16th of October, 2018. See, I knew the answer. If it seems like I'm being hard on anybody, I'm not. I understand people's reluctance to point to the Bible to explain what it is we're in right now. All of mass media, movies, scientists, politicians, everybody is being force-fed from science, Big Bang, evolution, so forth and so on. How about this? 50 years I've been alive.
Okay, so by forcing science on people, he's just talking about educating people in general. So, just so that you understand what he's talking about, he's mad at people being scientifically educated into higher IQs.
Half a century, is that right? Half a century or a decade, whatever. Century, half a century.
He got there eventually. Yes, it's 50 years is half a century. It is not half a decade. That would be 5 years. Kind of like the equivalent IQ that you have.
People are not better than they used to be. You see what I'm saying? People have access to a ridiculous amount of information via the internet.
Yes, I would agree. People do have access to a ridiculous amount of information on the internet. And, it's amazing to me that people like Richie from Boston still fucking exist and know how to access the internet enough to upload a fucking video.
Some people are addicted to things like the news or sport. They want to know all the facts, the figures, so forth and so on.
Yeah, fuck us for wanting to stay updated on current events. Fuck you for wanting to know the latest sports score because it entertains your ass. Just fuck all of us and our information and shit.
Well, when you're getting your information from people that are unrolling an agenda before our eyes, the information that you're memorizing and putting forth to others, whether you're being arrogant about it or helpful, it doesn't matter, but I notice that most people are arrogant about it.
I guess I would be a prime example of being arrogant about the shit. Like, I guess I'm being kind of arrogant about, oh, hey, look, I recognize that it's just education and it's nothing fucking crazy like you're trying to spout here. You're totally straw-manning the education system. I'm a fucking arrogant son of a bitch.
The info that you're getting is wrong. It's skewed. According to science, genetically modified food has helped feed the world. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay, how is it a lie? I would love for you to continue on in your conversation here by telling me exactly how it's a lie. Before you do that, though, I would like to bring your attention to Norman Borlaug. Norman Borlaug is a geneticist that actually won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. That's because he developed a genetically modified version of wheat that would grow in places like Mexico and India and I believe Pakistan too. Yeah, Mexico, Pakistan, and India. The result of which was that Mexico became a net exporter of wheat by 1963, and between 65 and 70, the wheat yields nearly doubled in Pakistan and India, greatly improving the food security in those nations. I can guarantee you nobody grew gills and started fucking swimming under the water and shit, okay, because they ate some wheat. All he did was develop this crop that could grow in harsh environments. And essentially, that's what genetically modified foods are. And also, I would say that there are two different types of genetically modified foods. There's genetically modified foods from, like, human selection or it's not natural selection, it's artificial selection. From artificial selection. There's that kind of genetically modifying an organism, and then there's the actual like CRISPR methods and directly dealing with the genes. The ones that he doesn't like are the ones where you deal directly with the genes. But even then, all they're doing is putting in or splicing in genes that help these things become more resilient. Or like, for instance, with these particular tomatoes, they put in a gene that allowed them to ripen later so that they would be fresher on the shelves for longer periods of time. They also integrate a lot of pesticide resistance into them so that you don't have to use pesticides on these things. But then again, a lot of people love to go to like farmers markets and get the totally GMO free corn that's got maggots on the fucking end of it because you won't either use pesticides or genetically modified corn. I know. That I said go to the farmers market.
Sorry, I thought you said...
No.
Oh.
The farmer's market. People would rather get shit like that directly from the thing and chew on fucking worms.
I do love the farm.
I don't mean to shit on farmer's market in general. The farmer's market's pretty good most of the time, but I'm saying is that you have those problems with the farmer's market and with not using pesticides and not using genetically modified food sources. So, like, they're all just... Doubting Thomas says, maggots is natural, dude. Yeah, maggots are natural, but I definitely don't want to eat fucking maggots, okay? But anyways, that's just a short kind of brief thing. Genetically modified organisms have been going on for the longest time. Dogs now are genetically modified. Strawberries, bananas, almost any food that you can think of is genetically modified in some way.
You can look up the information for yourself. That is not the case whatsoever at all. GMOs have literally turned our food into Frankenstein food. That's
What do you even mean by Frankenstein food? It's like you're going to grow a tomato and it's going to have like a fish fin mixed with a shark head.
a fact. It is what it is. When you have to go to a store to buy organic food, that's just stupid.
I agree. Buying the purely organic food is kind of stupid because, I mean, I get it if you have some other reason, but if your reason is that, oh, I don't trust GMO foods, that is stupid. Like saying, oh, I don't trust GMO foods. I don't know what they spliced in there. I could bite in there and get a monkey head or something. That's just ridiculous. Nadine and I are late. Please start over. Titties! Thank you, Josiah. You haven't missed too much. We're only about a minute and 45 seconds into this video.
Organic food. Food is organic by its very nature, except now it's been effed with.
It's been fucking effed with, guys. It's been effed up the A with it, okay? You MFers out there? Don't F with my food. Get your dick out of my tomatoes. It's like fucking American pie up in here, except it's American potatoes. No, potatoes wouldn't, but the potatoes are also genetically modified.
And when you look at all the major retailers of organic food, look behind the layers and see who owns them.
Ooh, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess Monsanto is one of them, along with other Illuminati people. I'm betting it's Illuminati people. Is it Illuminati people?
Monsanto?
Fuck, I was right. It's always Monsanto. Monsanto gives us psychopaths and fucking monkey-headed goddamn tomatoes.
Or Bayer, or somebody along those lines.
Bayer? Like the aspirin pharmaceutical company? I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, if they do, okay, but it just seems a little weird. It's like Bayer is kind of out there.
Is lurking in the background. The corporate takeovers of everything wasn't just about money. You can only have so much money. Do you see what I'm saying? And
you can only have so much money. Tell Scrooge McDuck that. Or no, who's the guy on DuckTales? I can't remember his name. The three triplets dad or uncle or something like that. I can't remember. Well, it's Donald Duck. I want to say that he's got a different name in it. Anyways, I mean, I guess there would be a finite amount of money in general, or a finite amount of wealth. I don't know. This seems like a weird point to bring up.
Having vast
Uncle Scrooge McDuck.
amounts of money that are backed up by nothing. What does that even mean? And then even if it is backed up by gold is a rock, man. It's a rock. It's a rock.
It's a rock. It's also a basic element that's in the periodic table of elements. It's not a rock. It's an atom. Like the pure gold is just the collection of gold atoms. It's not like a rock that has other minerals in it. Rocks have different minerals that comprise it. So gold is not a rock, I will say. But I mean, still, the gold standard, we've moved away from it. Like, we don't have gold to back up our money anymore. But I mean, still, precious metals were valuable to people. Like, they recognized how rare they were and thus were worth a value to people. And I mean, I'm not going to go through the entire history of commerce.
It's a rock. Our entire civilization, we're evolving, and yet I can't even finish that one.
I can't even finish the bullshit I was making up right there. I don't even know where I was going with that one. Fuck me. Seems a little early for this shit to be happening right now. I'm just saying. I didn't say flat Earth was the monos. I mean, he's not talking about flat Earth. He's talking about conspiracy theory shit. So I don't know. Anyways.
Can't even finish that one. At any rate, think about our government. Do you?
Oh, okay. Let me think about our government real quick. Hold on.
I can't even finish that one. At any rate, think about our government. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Think about our government. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so that jump right there is actually me taking out some content. I do want to preface every time that I did take out a significant portion of content, but it's because he just he goes off on rants, as you can already tell. This video is supposed to originally be about evolution, but we just got done talking about GMOs and shit. But anyways, so the link is in the description if you want to see his full video. But at this point right here, he goes off on a rant about the government, and I can't even begin to summarize what he was talking about here, but I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to hide anything from you. I'm not. It's just not pertinent to the actual conversation that's being had.
Evolving. Why is it our grandparents were better people than we are? You know?
I don't think our grandparents were better people than we are. I think that we progressed as a society. I mean, it's fairly obvious that we're better people morally than back then. I think that you know, we're not, maybe we're not as hard of workers as fucks back then, but I mean, I think that's a little hard to judge considering the two different societies, and I'm definitely not the person to actually do that kind of judgment, but I mean, I don't think that Richie here is the kind of person to make that judgment either.
What I'm saying? For real, seriously. Granted, I think, in my opinion, that compared to back in the 50s and 60s, humanity is a hell of a lot better looking, but that's also a...
You are definitely not an example of us being better looking than people from the 50s.
a double-edged...
He does something serious with paper towels. Yeah, I think he's some kind of like day laborer or something like that. I don't know about a plumber, honey.
Sword. People don't get married for reasons. You know, like people don't get...
Yeah, people don't get fucking married for reasons like love and shit. I don't even know why he's saying this.
Married for like, this woman, when I'm around this woman, she makes me happy. She compliments me, so forth and so on.
Honey, you compliment me and I love you to death. Yeah, I mean, I compliment you all the time too, don't I? Yeah. Okay. So you're fucking wrong, dipshit.
Instead, it's she's hot, I'm hot, let's have sex, and then you get married, and then after a little while you start cheating, because every single television show and movie shows people cheating. It's just no big deal.
I would say that it's still a big deal. But I mean, I think that it depends on the relationship that you're in. Not that, cheating is ever good or anything like that. But I would say that your false dichotomy here doesn't actually make any kind of sense. Obviously, there are people that get married for good reasons because you love each other and you complement each other and whatnot. But I mean, you also have to understand, like, at what age they're getting married. Because if you're getting married, like, when you're 20 or something like that, I would say that you're probably not fully developed into the person that you're going to become later on down the line. Then there's some people that are. Some people are perfectly fine with how they are at age 20, and they continue to be that way. And that's fine. The point that I'm trying to make here is that his false dichotomy that he's pushing here is not representative of any set of any marital like group or think or anything like that. So he's putting forth a straw man and a false dichotomy. Let's see. Drew's book reviews. Bible, blinded information based on lack of evidence. Science, systematic, comprehensive investigation and exploration of nature causes and effects. Natural, yeah. Thank you, Drew. I really appreciate you, man.
No big deal. Everybody's divorced. No biggie, right? And then they're even going past that. They're telling us the evolution of humanity means that you can either be a man, a woman, a transgender, a fluid gender. Like, this is all laughable and ludicrous.
You know why that's laughable and ludicrous? Because you're just making it up right here on the spot. Nobody says that that's evolution. I think that those particular situations and instances have existed the entire time that we've been human. We understand it better now, but that doesn't mean that that's part of evolution. I think that we're always evolving. Every form of an animal is like a transitional form. So, I mean, right now I would say that we are a transitional form, but we're also the apex like predator. There's no reason for us to really change. Now, if you like shot astronauts out into space and whatnot, they would probably change and they would, develop differently. If we went and lived on another planet that had different properties and shit and lived there for, hundreds of thousands of years, they would end up being different species of the genus Homo, the Homo genus. That sounds a little bad. But you get what I mean.
When I started my channel in 2010, this wasn't a thing. That's how fast this has happened. This isn't evolution. This is social programming, social experimentation on a grand scale.
So I don't know if he's saying that evolution is social programming or like the new understanding of how gender and sexuality works is social programming. I think that it's the latter. So we're going to go with that. No, it's not social programming. That, again, is pulling it directly out of your ass.
These people have figured out a way using the internet, social media, so forth, so on, blah, 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 blah. They can do something and then sit back and monitor everybody's reactions in real time. There was never, that never existed. Do you know what I'm saying? People in different areas had
I don't know what you're saying, bro. Nobody knows what you're saying.
Their own customs, they had their own way of living, their own way of being. That's all blurred now. When I was a kid, people stayed in their own races, for instance.
Holy shit! Everybody stayed in their own races? Are you seriously advocating for, like, fucking racism now? Like, everybody stayed in their own races. But, fuck that. Yeah, I've got some really bad, like, internet right now. I don't know what the issue is. It keeps fluctuating. Yeah, well, sorry, I was looking at my kilobytes and whatnot. Yeah, I'll have to, like, put this up later or something like that. It's recording at a fine Anyways.
You're Italian, married Italian, so forth, so on, blah, blah, blah. That is out the window.
Wait a second. He just said that Italian was a race. Italian is not a race. Italian's a nationality. I don't know what you think race is, but it's definitely not Italian.
I can't help but think back to creation. Everybody, people from China were Chinese, people from Japan were Japanese, people from the Caucasus Mountains were white, or whatever that is. I don't know.
The Caucasus Mountains? Like, this is Caucasus Mountains? Caucasus Mountains. In Georgia, Azerbaijan, honey. Over in that area. Turkey. So I guess I don't know if he thinks that we stem, like, Caucasians stem from that. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that, because I don't know directly if that is it. But everything he says, I have to be like, I don't know about that, buddy. But anyways, but yeah, like, at creation, there was no China, there was no Japan, there was no whatever other country he's talking about. None of that actually existed, and there was no creation, for one. I meant, like, at the beginning of the earth, or whatever the fuck. It's just, it's ridiculous for him to even make these assertions.
Exactly know the story of white people, but I got a funny feeling that we're the assholes in this whole movie. Or,
honey, we're the assholes in this whole movie. Yeah, we are. What I will say is that Caucasians, white people, in the past have generally been dicks to everybody else, it seems. That's not to say that other races, or you know, like, black people haven't also been dicks, like, in Africa and whatnot. Because, I mean, obviously they were. Did you know that during the slave trade, there were actual black people, like native Africans, that would capture their own people and sell them into slavery? That's a true fact. Look it up. So, I mean, obviously there've been dickheads of any color. Being a dickhead is regardless of race.
or at least many of the assholes in this whole movie are white. I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road. Long story short, technology, with the progress we've made and all these things they tell us about. Do you talk to your neighbors? Do you?
I don't. Normally I don't, unless I have a reason to talk to my neighbors. I don't know why that randomly came up out of fucking nowhere.
You have a community? If you do, it's a rare thing. And be honest, because television and movies have taught us, and the news, don't forget the news. Television, movies, and the news have taught us that your neighbor could be a killer or a sex offender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your neighbor could be a dangerous person, sure. They could also be fucking nice. I mean, everybody that lived around fucking Gacy thought that he was a fine person and that he was an active member of the community. But obviously that motherfucker was fucking kids and killing them and storing them underneath his floorboards. So, yeah, your neighbor could be crazy as shit. But that's never been any different. We're just more aware of the fact that people can be crazy.
Amazes me how many people I know that don't even know their neighbors, that they've lived in a neighborhood for 10 or more years. That's crazy, but it's by design. Something goes wrong, most people, at least in the Northeast, don't help each other. You know,
most people don't help each other. I wonder where you're getting this statistic. I mean, in general, the more people that witness, like, scientifically, the more people that witness something happening, the less likely anybody is to make a call, because they all assume that everybody else is making a call. That's been a scientifically proven thing, but that doesn't mean that people just don't help each other. There are plenty instances of people helping each other. You know, when there was that big winter storm here in Alabama, like 5 years ago or so, 5-6 years ago, it took out a whole bunch of power lines and everything like that, and you had people that were helping out. So,
what I'm saying? You're on your own. When the governor comes on television and says, there's a storm coming, no one's allowed to drive, I was outraged.
I was outraged because I couldn't make videos, because I couldn't get in my fucking car and drive around the most unsafe way to make a fucking video. I couldn't do that, and I was outraged because I don't want you to see how shitty my house actually is.
Nobody cared. So now they do it all the time. Everything that's occurring right now has been written down in the Bible.
How do you even get there? Like, seriously, how do you get that everything that's occurring now is written down in the Bible? Like, I don't see any of the shit that's happening now in the fucking Bible. You must be reading a different Bible than I am, because I've read the Bible. I'm currently reading the Bible. This shit's not in there.
I love nature. I love outdoors. I love harsh climates. I love being able to take care of myself by myself. I forget what I was saying.
I don't even know why you started bringing that up. I mean, that was not me cutting some shit out right there. That was literally him being like, I love nature. I go out there and I fucking masturbate underneath the clouds every single fucking day.
Son of a bitch. At any rate, I do remember what I was saying. If you look at nature, if you look at animals, trees, plants, flowers, how everything works, how everything, all the animals work together, like there's a thing called instincts, which aren't something that you would evolve over time.
Instincts are exactly evolved over time. I don't know what you're talking about. Instincts would be selected for the animal that allows, like, the animal is living in an area, and the basic instincts that animal has that allows it to survive better than the other animals around it, of course that is evolution. So I don't know what you mean by it's not. He's definitely going the route of like the argument from design though, because he's talking about nature and animals and all that other kind of shit. So, this is not a good argument to use for Jesus or Christianity in general. For one thing, we have natural explanations to explain why things appear the way they do today. Evolution has a scientifically tested theory that has not been broken yet. Like, see, that's what you do, is you test theories to break them, and it has not been broken yet because it's a strong theory. And anytime there is a problem with it or a problem's pointed out, we can always refactor that theory and make it so that it's a better theory that better represents reality. What he's doing here is just pulling shit out of his ass and saying, nope, that ain't natural. That's God-given right there.
Instincts are something that are given to you. Instincts and that little voice inside. What I'm trying to say is, if you...
Richie, what does your little voice tell you on the daily basis? I want to know so that I can know if you're talking back to that little voice.
You are in search of ultimate truth. Truth of what's happening around here, truth of what's going on, and truth of what's coming. You have to find your way to the Bible. That's the truth. That's all there is to it. People...
No, that's not the truth. The Bible is the furthest thing from the truth. There's so little truth in the Bible that you can actually do away with the Bible and you will be better off. That there's so little truth in it. So I don't know what you mean by truth here, and you haven't actually given any kind of evidence as to like the truth that it speaks, other than the fact that, oh, Jesus is Lord and I'm going to heaven to suck his dick.
People can say the Bible was messed with and this, I hear you. It probably was. I don't know. I can't prove it. And I don't think anybody else can either.
Actually, we can prove it. We have extant manuscripts dating back to the 3rd century. So we can tell exactly how much the Bible was changed over time. What we don't know is prior to that, we don't know how much the Bible was changed, but it definitely fucking was changed.
But when you look at things like the Fibonacci sequence, you look at things like the golden ratio, it's the fingerprint of God. It's absolutely everywhere.
I don't know if he knows what fingerprints are. Because the golden ratio is definitely not the fingerprint of God.
Things in the Bible have been proven with rock solid proof you could hold in your hand.
I will agree, you can hold shit in your hands. I'm not talking about actual evidence, of course. I'm talking about a literal turd. You can hold a turd in your hand. There's more evidence for your turd than there is for what's in the Bible.
And it's all been sucked up by the wealthy. I go out to the desert.
The wealthy are out there sucking up all these turds. No, there's no evidence that's been sucked up by the wealthy that's hiding the truth of the Bible, I think is what he was getting at.
All the time, as often as I can. It's really far from where I live, but at any rate, you go out there, in the middle of nowhere, you'll find a massive stone, and 35 feet up that massive stone face, you'll find petroglyphs. Every time you find petroglyphs, undoubtedly you will come across 6 fingers, spirals, serpents, and then large people, because there were giants in those days.
How did we get here, Richie? What are we even fucking talking about? Because you climb this rock face over here, you're gonna find 6 fucking fingers and then a large, tall fucking shack-looking motherfucker over there. And his name's Nephilim, though. It ain't Shaq.
And there will be again. I'm almost positive that they have. I mean, why all the frenzy about DNA? If they could clone it.
What do you mean the frenzy about DNA? What are you even talking about?
A sheep, way back when, they can reanimate a giant. I believe they have Osiris. I believe they.
Oh, honey, did you hear what he just said? He believes that the mysterious they has Osiris. Like the old god of the Egyptians, Osiris? Yeah. The fuck that didn't exist? Apparently they have Osiris because they cloned him. I don't think Tim says Osiris existed.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm with you after a little bit more beer. So they have Osiris. Let's see where you go with this.
They have all this stuff that they needed, which is why mummies were made. The Egyptians or the Phoenicians or whoever it was that made mummies, all they were doing was making sure they were saving viable tissue for thousands of years so that at some point the technology would come around again where they could reanimate them.
Okay, so now the Egyptians only made mummies to preserve old ass flesh and bones so that people in the future could clone them, because obviously goddamn Egyptians knew about cloning, knew that it would come about, knew that people were going to develop the technology, and obviously they saved their bodies. I'm just taking in all of the fucking crazy right now, because nothing that he said is actually supported by any kind of historical evidence ever. Obviously, mummies were a tradition by the Egyptians. I don't know exactly why they mummified them. I could have looked that up prior to doing the stream, but I was too focused on Jesus stuff. But it doesn't matter, because what he's saying is not, like, it's not even wrong. Have you ever heard of that term, not even wrong? That's when somebody literally pulls an idea out of their ass with no evidence or anything like that. And so they're in the impossible position of not even being wrong. See, there's wrong, and then there's not even wrong when you just, there's nothing you can say or should say to refute it, because it's just fucking ridiculous.
See what I'm saying? Makes sense? We can't mummify people now.
We could mummify people now. We don't do it anymore. So I don't know what you mean by we can't do it now. We could do it if the Egyptians can do it. I can guarantee you we can do it now.
actually do the exact opposite. They rip everything out of you and throw it away and fill you full of formaldehyde. I'm pretty sure that's not how you're supposed to leave this mortal coil.
I don't know how you're supposed to leave this mortal coil. I'm guessing the way you're supposed to leave this mortal coil is by old age, ideally. But even then, you have people that die in various ways.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's another little joke they're playing on us. They saved people, especially...
Huh? Well, yeah, but you've already left the mortal coil at that point. So he was mixing up two different things there of dying and then what happens to your carcass afterwards. So, I mean... Well, for the Egyptians, they actually pulled... They thought the heart and the other organs were the important parts, and that's why they kept them in the jars, right? That's why they pulled out all the organs, put them in jars, because they thought those were the important parts, and that's why they just stuck hot rods up the nose and, like, you know, destroyed the brain, because they didn't know that the brain is the actual part of the central nervous system. They thought, like, the heart and the liver and everything like that was the essential parts of a person.
I think, I mean, can't prove this either. They saved people that were special, people that had elongated skulls, so forth and so on.
Okay, I feel like now he's talking about like Central American society, like early societies who would bind infants' heads and make their skulls grow and whatnot. They weren't. It's not like they came out the womb with a fucking big ass skull. Like, they had, like, from a young age, they wore shit and put shit on kids' heads that make their heads grow like that.
So I'm positive in their deep underground military bases that are basically cities underneath all of our cities right now. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's just that's a thing. Been around a long time.
Okay, so now there are military bases underneath every city in the United States that house, I guess, cloning facilities for these special people that the Egyptians saved millennia ago. I feel like this is tantamount to Dean Esme's conspiracy theory right here.
I'm fairly certain that they have legion of these things.
Oh, yeah, they have a legion of these things. Not only that, but this is a fact, guys. Oh, trust me, it's a fact, okay? Fact! Can't wait till we get our own house and I could just have my drawing board over here. No, baby, it's fine.
The artificial intelligence, the D-Wave specifically, is nothing more than a Ouija board. It allows super high-speed bandwidth back and forth with other dimensional entities that are giving them the blueprint to unlock hell on earth.
So now they have D-Wave AI Ouija boards that communicate with interdimensional beings that are here to that are giving us instructions on how to open up hell on earth. Honestly, this sounds like a pretty dope Doom sequel, if you gotta be honest. Like, I could see the writers for the next Doom after Doom Eternal being like, oh shit, well, you know what? We could do like a prequel that has these D-Waves motherfuckers be using it as a Ouija board to communicate with these interdimensional fucks.
And the assholes that are doing it have been blinded by power, money, wealth, and I'm sure the promise of eternal life. It's the exact same promise that was made in the beginning, and why wouldn't they use it again? You see what I'm saying?
I have no idea what you're saying, Richie. Nobody has any idea what you're saying. I guess maybe your followers do, but that's because they don't think critically?
Don't be afraid to make videos telling people what your beliefs are. If you're talking about anything that you're calling truth, you have to come to the Bible.
Unless you disagree with him about all of this shit.
You have to come to Jesus. You have to come to Genesis and Revelation specifically.
Okay, well, the last thing I'm going to do is come on Jesus, okay? I am not That is just not gonna, like, there's no way I could get hard enough with Jesus around to come on him. I don't know why you would ask me to do that, Richie.
Two of the most heavily attacked books in the entire Bible. There's a reason for that. At any rate, Richie from Boston. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm out.
Peace out, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and all that kind of good shit. You understand me? If you haven't liked this video right now, then the Illuminati demons are going to be communicating with your D-Waves through the interdimensional portal to convince you to open up hell on Earth with evolutionary GMO wheat or something. You got to put the GMO wheat in a pentagram and then take a shit right in the middle of the floor, and that will summon the demons, is what it'll do. Anyways, thank you, heathens, for joining on the video portion. Of course, I'm going to be cutting out the next portion, the comments, so be sure to catch us every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. If you, at 8:30 p.m. Central, if you want to catch the live streams. Now we're going to go into the comments, and I will see everybody that's watching the restream later.